Alright guys, let's talk about a drop shot rig. I know there's a lot of questions on the forum about how to rig a drop shot rig and how to fish it, so that's what I'm going to talk about this morning. What a drop shot rig usually is, there's always variations of it, is a medium light spinning rod or a crankbait rod, depends on what you want. But today we're going to use a spinning rod. Now this right here is a medium heavy spinning rod. The reason I'm using one today is because I'm using a 15-pound test and I'm fishing around trees and brush. And the fish are pretty good size and they fight pretty good. And I break off way too many on 10-pound test, so I upped it to 15-pound test, no, 12-pound test. And but I'm still going to rig it the same way, use a little bit bigger hook, and I'm using a bigger worm too. Okay. There's a lot of different types of hooks for a drop shot rig. This right here is a mosquito hook. Some people use the drop shot, split shot hook. Other people use regular offset worm hooks, which is fine. Just one thing to remember with offset worm hook is you're going to Texas rig your worm, so it requires a little bit more hook set. So you need to think about, you know, how strong your rod is, how strong your line is, and whether it can handle that hook set, that type of a hook set. I do it on this rod right here, medium heavy with 12-pound test. Okay, so I'm using a mosquito hook, a number 1 mosquito hook, and a 3/8 ounce teardrop drop shot weight. Okay, you see the drop shot swivel. It lets a line gripper swivel, and I'll show you how to rig that here in just a minute. There's other types of drop shot weights. There's cylindrical and there's a little round ball, but I prefer the teardrop. They're hard to find. I ended up starting to make them myself instead of trying to find them on the East Coast. Okay. Now, like I said, I got a mosquito hook. It's a number 1 mosquito hook. And what you do is you tie a Palomar knot. And you tie it with a long tag end. You notice how, you know, we came up with this question about a year ago on the website. A lot of people fussing, you know, or complaining about not being able to tie a Palomar knot on a small hook. Just put the line through the hook and then put it back through the same way, so you got your loop. It's one of those duh questions, but you know, sometimes it comes up, especially people who don't do it very often. Okay, pull yourself a good tag end. I'm using about a 20-inch tag end, mainly because the fish today are a little bit suspended off the bottom, and I still want them to be able to look up to see the bait. They tend to bite it a little bit better when they're looking up. Wet the line, pull it tight. Make sure it's tied right, make sure it's not wrapped around the eye of the hook. Now, you know, the hook's not standing out like you want to on a drop shot rig, so the trick, you see you got the hook turned straight up like that. You take your tag in and you put it back through the eye of the hook. Okay. Pull it tight, and now your hook's turned straight up, and it'll stay pretty much that way all day. Still have to adjust every once in a while, especially when you get line twist. Now, with these line gripper drop shot weights, with these swivels, you stick it through, grab the tag end, grab both ends, and you pull up. That's all there is. No knots, no anything. You just pull up and it stays tight just like that. Now, what types of worms to use with a drop shot? I like straight tail worms. I don't like things, you know, the worms with the ribbon tails and things like that, but you can use them. They do work. The reason I don't like them is because it tends to get wrapped around the line a lot more on the cast, and will definitely affect the action of the worm. Okay. Now, with an open hook, all you got to do is nose hook it, just like this. Just nose hook it, and you're ready to fish. Okay? Alright, you notice how I underhand pinched it? Right up against that tree, and I'm just going to shake it here for a minute. Alright, see the fish loading up on it? You just lift up and start reeling. You know, I had an open hook, so I didn't want to lay into it. I just lifted it up. You know, and even that big old worm will catch a small fish like this. Little fish, but you guys kind of get the idea. A little bit better fish. Notice I did a little underhand flip, little pitch. A lot easier to cast that weight that way. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm letting the weight just sit on the bottom, and I'm just shaking the worm. See, I got a fish on. Okay, set the hook. Ooh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. Notice I didn't set the hook. I just kind of lifted up and I let that small, thin, wired hook get a bite into this fish. Okay? Just like that. You catch a pretty good fish. Yeah, 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds. Now, drop shot can be a really, really deadly weapon. Very versatile, a lot more versatile than one would think. You know, I've used creature baits. I've used a lot of different things. You know, like I said, I don't like things with the ribbon tails because the ribbon tail just wraps around the line a lot. Kind of cause it to foul up. Now you can use it. I have caught fish with them. Shoot, last week I was using a Dropshot rig and a 10-inch zoom old monster. You can get a bunch of fish out of a dang trick worm just by biting off the front, the little bit that the hook missed about. Shake it. There's a bite. Set the hook. Got an acrobat. Also means I don't have a worm. Nope, got one worm on. There you go.